Thank you for joining the webinar. My name is Shankar Radhakrishnan. I'm the CEO of Guidance Inc. So we spoke to OBIEE users from several organizations, both end users and IT, about what is missing in OBIEE that is preventing them from doing their jobs effectively. The number one list item on the top of the list was lack of self-service capability. Today we will look at how you can add self-service capability to OBIEE using Tableau. So let's begin by looking at the top drivers for self-service capability in today's organization. According to a survey conducted by the Data Warehouse Institute, the 4 top drivers for self-service BI are, the first one is the demand from business users to keep pace with the changing business requirements. This is the rapid pace at which business requirements are changing is giving rise to new data sources, and they want to analyze it and take better business decisions. Now, this in turn is translating, due to the lack of self-service capability, this is translating into a huge backlog of BI requirements for IT departments, and the IT departments are not able to keep pace with these requirements, and they're not able to satisfy these requirements in a timely manner. Also, the economy, the state of the economy we are in, which is uncertain at best, is forcing organizations to be more data-driven. They want to take decisions based on the latest data that is available, rather than taking decisions based on gut instincts. And so the end users who want to take better decisions, they want to get access to data immediately, because they want to take better results, achieve better results for their organization, and also keep their jobs. So immediate access to information has become an important driver for self-service BI. Now let's look at where the organizations are with respect to the self-service BI. Majority of the users who are information consumers are on the left-hand side. If you look at it, they're consuming the reports, the static reports, and they're dependent on IT to provide these static reports in a very centralized and controlled manner. So we call it the dull side of the enterprise. On the other side, the power users who are impatient and who want to take matters into their own hands, they are more on the what we call the dark side. They are taking data. They're not able to wait for the data to become accessible through their IT driven processes. So they're taking things into their own hands, taking data out of their existing environments, dumping them in Excel, Access, etc. So this we call kind of the dark side of the enterprise. What is ideally needed is a self-service BI capability that is in between, that provides capabilities to both the information consumers and the power users, so that they can access the data immediately and in an ad hoc manner and get the results that they need. So let's look at what is self-service BI capability. It is basically providing an ability for end users to create and design their own reports and analysis within a given set of tools that is approved and supported by the organization. So the tools have to be easy to use. The user should be able to have easy access to the data sources, whatever the data sources are, and very immediate access to the new data sources that are coming up. And the tools should be easy to deploy and manage. So this will enable them to create reports, create analysis, share them with their colleagues and the organization, collaborate, and consume the results in an efficient manner. Now, it's important to note that the self-service BI is complementary to the traditional BI. And there's also an important factor which is called the 80-20 rule. So in an ideal self-service environment, 80% of your requirements, BI requirements, should be handled through the self-service capability. So this will lead to a more manageable load for the IT, who can focus on the 4 important things and deliver the capability in a timely manner. And there's, in turn, leads to a need for a governed self-service. What it means is the self-service capability cannot be on the dark side where users go and do their own things, but rather within an approved and supported architecture and framework within the organization. So now, where is OBIEE with respect to the self-service? And what are some of the challenges with respect to self-service in an OBIEE environment. Let's look at the start by looking at the OBIEE strengths. The biggest strength of OBIEE is its metadata repository, or RPD. It has a robust semantic layer that allows organizations to build their business models and deliver to a large set of users. So you're able to build complex data models, which consisting of joins of hundreds of tables, and each table can have hundreds of columns. And the business logic you can pretty much build all your business logic into it and provide the scale and performance needed for large organizations. Another advantage of OBIEE is its well-defined security model. So there are 3 layers of security. The first one is the object-level security, where you can define which of security on top of the subject areas, presentations, and so on. The second level, you can provide data-level security by providing row filters. The third level is presentation-level security, where you can define which users, which roles, which other groups have access to which dashboards, which reports, etc. Such a robust security model is very critical for large organizations. There are also other advantages to OBIEE, which is it's very good for providing enterprise dashboards where the data sources are well defined. So for example, if your data source is a financial application and you're looking at metrics such as profit margins or sales revenues, etc., the data sources are well defined. They're not going to change rapidly. So you can define a standard set of metrics, filters, dimensions, etc., and make it available to a large set of users. Of course, the UI is a little dated, but from a data source and data availability perspective, it's pretty well defined and it doesn't change, so this can be consumed by a large set of users. Now, let's look at the OBIEE's weakness, where it fails in the self-service area. The biggest challenge is the speed of change. And in an OBIEE environment, the development and the process is very IT-centered. It's dependent on IT. A huge workload depends on the fall on the IT's shoulders. So because of the rapidly changing requirements and translating into new requirements for the IT, it takes weeks and months to add dashboards and data sources in an OBIEE environment. So this becomes a big challenge for users who want to have ready access to the data. Another issue that's a niche challenge with OBIEE is a lack of blending. Why is blending important? So you have new data sources coming up every day, and in order to, if you want to be able to, as an end user, you want to be able to quickly see with these data sources how you can model these data sources, combine them with your existing data, see what is the value of these new data sources, and then if it is a play with it, kind of figure out what is the right model, and then when it becomes a dependable data source, you can bring it into your traditional framework. Now, this is not possible with OBIEE 11G. OBIEE 12G has very limited capabilities. You can only do blending with Excel, and that's not sufficient. You have so many other data sources. And also, you've also heard that it requires additional license. So this is a big drawback for OBIEE. There are also other challenges from an OBIEE perspective. Of course, the first one is the data visualization. It's not intuitive, it's very difficult, and it's very super complex for users, for end users. It takes time, a lot of time to get to know the OBIEE and then figure out how to create the reports, etc. And often, therefore, the bulk of the workload falls on the IT to create those dashboards and reports. Another challenge is the data also gets created in silos of subject areas. How do you bring, you might have access to certain silos of data, but you might not have access to the others, so you don't know how to bring these data together for your business analysis. So, given all these challenges, what are business users doing today? They've gone almost to the edge of the dark side. So what did they do? The business users, often frustrated with the self-service, lack of self-service capability of OBIEE, have taken matters into their own hands. They have exported data from OBIEE into either CSVs or SQL databases, or they ask their IT to create staging environments, and then, but they like the tools the self-service capability of Tableau. So they brought in Tableau into the organizations, and they go through this process of getting data into CSVs or staging database and then into Tableau, and then mash it up, create the attractive visualizations that they like, and share it with their colleagues. Now, what are some of the challenges with this approach? First one is that it's a laborious and cumbersome process. You have to do it often, and if you are getting data out of OBIEE in a manual process, or IT has to write scripts and manage them, and then there's the discrepancy between data, what is in what you have versus what is in the live data that is available in OBIEE. So you don't have the latest and greatest data all the time. So and it takes tremendous amount of effort and time for both business users and in cases where IT has to help to put together to make this happen. When you create these data sources, different data sources, which are transitionary data sources, there's no single version of truth when you take this approach. So the OBIEE, which has the trusted data source that is coming in, now you're creating all these different CSVs and all that stuff, all the different intermediate data repositories, and if there are issues, then you calculate some data and you find some differences in the way the calculations in your calculation versus the OBIEE's calculation, you have to go and reconcile. Also, it creates new data silos, which you are trying to avoid in these organizations. The last most important thing is that when you go take this approach, security models are broken. You're breaking the security models that have been well defined in OBIEE as to what roles can access what data. Now, the data is now spread across in spreadsheets and SQL databases without the proper security model. So, how do you address this challenge? What is the ideal solution? In an ideal world, you should be able to connect from Tableau directly to OBIEE, reuse the OBIEE data model, which has been defined, and connect live to it and build Tableau visualizations on top of it. You shouldn't have to go through intermediate steps to bring the data into Tableau. You should be able to blend this OBIEE data with external data quickly, which Tableau tremendously enables, and create new models. You should be able to reuse the OBIEE security rules and follow the established security models in your organization. And by doing this, you're able to take advantage of all the existing investment that you have made in OBIEE, plus also bring in the self-service capability of OBIEE. And this approach will allow you to put together a truly governed self-service BI capability in your organization. And this is exactly what BI Connector enables. So BI Connector enables Tableau users to access OBIEE subject areas and soon reports as data sources. The data will be secured by OBIEE security model. You're able to log in using your OBIEE username and password. You're reusing OBIEE's business logic. You're taking advantage of the joins that is already set up in the OBIEE. You don't have to make any changes to the OBIEE, so it's a tremendous advantage for IT, leading to cost savings and time savings, both for business users because they don't have to go through any intermediate steps. They have live access to the OBIEE data all the time. And IT doesn't have to create any intermediate repositories or enable this data access. It's pretty easy. It's very easy to BI Connector is easy to install. It takes just a few minutes to install. And information is consistent. By that, what I mean is when you calculate in Tableau, do the calculations inside Tableau, it will be consistent with the results that you get from OBIEE. So by combining OBIEE and Tableau through BI Connector, you're getting a truly governed self-service BI capability. So with that, let me go through a quick demo of how you can enable this self-service BI environment for OBIEE using Tableau and BI Connector. So we'll go through 3 scenarios. First one is how do you visualize an OBIEE subject area through Tableau Desktop. The second scenario would be how to publish the data source, the OBIEE data source, as well as an OBIEE, as well as a worksheet through Tableau server. And the third scenario, which is a preview of an upcoming add-on that we are that we'll be working on the BI connector, which is how to visualize OBIEE reports from within Tableau application. So first scenario, we will be connecting to an OBIEE data source from within Tableau using BI connector. So you're going to other databases. BI connector is set up as you have created an OBIEE connect data source using BI connector. Simply select that, they connect. Now you have the access, you have the BI connector UI, where you have the username URL for the OBIEE here, and your username and password will be exactly same as the OBIEE's username and password. Takes a couple of seconds. Now you're connected to live data in OBIEE. So you can see the subject areas from OBIEE from within Tableau. So let's select this sample sales slide. Let's go and select some of the tables under the sample sales slide. Base packs, offices, products, time. So the user is now able to create their own worksheets from the OBIEE using Tableau. So it could be a power user who has access to, who can access this subject area and create their own models. So let's go to the sheet. Now, let's create a quick worksheet here. We'll look at revenue and target revenue from office and across product types for this organization. So by making it so easy to connect from Tableau to OBIEE, you are able to take advantage of all the self-service capabilities that Tableau provides and reuse the OBIEE models that have been set up over several years. And so you got all the office and product types. Let's do a pause update here, and let's bring in the revenue and target revenue. Let's bring the data. So now you have created a report within a couple of minutes by connecting to your OBIEE data source, the subject areas, in Tableau. And it's as simple as that. Now, from here on, you're able to take advantage of all the magic that Tableau provides and do the calculations, whatever that you need to do, and it makes it very easy to create visualizations and analysis on top of OBIEE data. So this is the first scenario. The next scenario is, let's look at how you can publish. Let's say you want to publish this and share with your colleagues through your Tableau server. So you can connect to Tableau server here. So I'm signed in. I can publish, the first thing is I'm going to publish the data source. I've already published it, but let me publish it again. I'm going to name it sync. And you can keep this prompt user. Basically what it means is when another user logs into the Tableau server or the Tableau the worksheet to this data source through the Tableau server, they will be prompted to enter their own username and password. You can also embed the username and password, but in this case, let's do a prompt and publish. This already exists, that's fine. It's been published. So now this data source is available through the Tableau server to other users. Now let's publish this workbook. So let's call this the demo book 1. Call this sheet 1. Same authentication, and this is now publishing. It's giving a preview. So now, because we set the prompt user, it's going to ask again to log in. Let's do this. So this workbook is now published to other users through the Tableau workshop, Tableau server. So you can quickly launch the browser. So let me quickly do that, and I need to share the screen. So I hope you can see the browser. So this particular worksheet that we just published is now available through the Tableau server, and you can log in. Again, since there is a prompt user, so you can log in through that server. This provides the security that you have established through the OBIEE inside the Tableau server also. So now you have access to this worksheet from within Tableau server. The users can edit, do whatever they want with this, and then customize it and make it their own. So this is this makes it easy to provide a governed OBIEE subject area data source through Tableau to a wide set of audience in your organization, and makes it easy to provide a self-service capability. Now, if you want to so we can go back, let's look at one scenario. So you've already published this data source. Now you can actually see how this would look. So you can connect, instead of connecting directly, let's say you're a user and you want to use Tableau desktop, you can actually connect to a published data source from within Tableau server. So this could be a scenario where IT has created a OBIEE data source for subject areas and publishes it, and then the power users can consume this and create their own visualizations on top of it. So the data source base facts has been published. So now I have, as a power user, I have access to it. I can create my own visualization by logging in. This is my OBIEE username and password. So now I can go in. I have access to the measures and dimensions just like I had earlier by directly connecting to OBIEE. Instead, now I'm connecting through the Tableau server, and you have the same access, and you can go in and create your own visualization using the data source that has been published in a scenario by the IT department, for example. So now, as the next scenario, one thing I want to give a preview of is our upcoming add-on to BI server, which will allow BI connector, which will allow you to visualize OBIEE reports. So in this case, the login process is pretty much the same as earlier. You go and select. We have created a set up a different data source called OBIEE Connect Reports. Select it. So you're now connecting to the OBIEE reports that are available to this particular user. And it'll be very simple, just like the previous OBIEE subject areas. So in this case, you have access to all the reports that for this particular user is able to access through the OBIEE. So now let's bring up this monthly. I want to look at monthly revenue trend. So the BI connector converts a report into a very simple data model. So you select this monthly revenue trend. You can quickly look at the data that is available on this report. You can go in now into the sheets and create your own visualizations. So let's create this. You can do this just like you were earlier visualizing the subject areas. So it's as simple as that. Basically, now you're creating a very intuitive user visualization on top of OBIEE reports. These OBIEE reports could be defined, the queries could be defined by power users or by IT in the OBIEE environment, and then through the BI connector, now it's available to a wider audience. Either it could be other power users or it could be end users who can use it and now use this in data information. And they can now, from here on, they can take advantage of all the capabilities, the blending capabilities that Tableau provides, and sharing it, annotating it, all those capabilities that Tableau provides, the self-service capability, they can take advantage of it using this feature. So this is a feature, this is a preview of our BI connector reports capability. It will be available in the next 30 to 60 days to our existing customers as a beta. You've seen how simple it is to visualize. You can create an OBIEE subject area as a governed data source. You've also seen how we can publish it through the Tableau server. Now let's look at how this all fits in the form of a governed self-service environment. So if you look at it from the bottom up, so the IT has gone in and created the data sources. They've pulled together the data sources which are very well defined, such as the transactional systems, whether it's Oracle, SAP, Siebel, Salesforce, etc., and those data bots. And then on top of that, they built that data model, in the OBIEE, which provides this using the OBIEE's robust semantic layer and with the security models built into it. Now, from here, the business users have two options, or the end users have two options. They can directly, some of the power users can directly connect to the OBIEE subject area using BI connector, or in some cases, the power users or super users can create certified OBIEE reports using the data in the semantic layer, or using the OBIEE semantic layer, and expose these reports or make these reports available to a wider set of audience for self-service capability through the BI, using BI connector. So as a result, at the top layer, you have the Tableau users, end users who are using Tableau, get access to certified content, whether it's in the form of OBIEE subject areas or OBIEE reports. They can mash it up, this data, with other data sources from Excel, the department data sources, whether it's Excel or SQL or Hadoop or other data sources, and do the analysis and then share it with a wider audience using Tableau server. So this provides you with a framework for setting up a governed self-service environment by using OBIEE, Tableau, and BI connector. And the benefit of such an approach is that the business users love the Tableau visualization for OBIEE. So they like the mashups. They're able to do mashups. The speed of change, they're able to get the speed that they need to bring in new data into their analysis. They don't have to do a laborious process of doing Excel exports or CSV exports or waiting for IT to provide their OBIEE data, etc. It is very easy. Tableau is intuitive and easy to use. From an IT perspective, they have fewer backlog BI requirements in their backlog. They're able to cut down their backlogs because the end users are able to take advantage of the self-service capability provided by Tableau for the OBIEE data and also for other data sources. The IT doesn't have to make any OBIEE changes. They can just plug in BI connector into the existing OBIEE environment, and it's ready to go from a Tableau perspective. They don't have to do any data migration. It's easy to deploy. BI connector works with 10G, OBIEE 10G, 11G, and also 12C. And another big advantage is from a security perspective, they're eliminating the Excel exports and the sprawl of Excel data in their environment. You don't have to provide end user direct SQL access, which bypasses the security model in the OBIEE. And the end users are using accessing the OBIEE data using this OBIEE security model. So as a result, you're supporting the self-service BI capability demand from the business users while using the OBIEE investment. And you're able to put together a truly governed self-service BI environment in your organization. So to summarize, it's important to recognize that you need two types of BI tools. OBIEE, which is driven by IT, which is very well suited for stable requirements, large data models, and with a well-developed security model. Tableau provides business user-friendly, provides the self-service capability, makes it easy to discover new data sources, intuitive visualization, the ability to mash up data, OBIEE data or other data together and create new models. It's great for transient data. You might not know, some data sources may not be, you don't know whether it's good for bringing into your enterprise framework, but you can quickly visualize it and see if it makes sense and then bring it into your enterprise framework. And it provides, most important of all, it provides the speed of change that is demanded by end users. You can combine OBIEE with Tableau, and you can follow the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of your BI requirements can be handled by self-service capability, you're able to set up a governed self-service BI environment. And this is a true win-win for both business and IT. And finally, the BI connector can help you achieve this governed BI, self-service BI environment efficiently and effectively, very quickly. So you can try BI connector for free for 14 days. You can download it from our website, and we have a number of guides, user guides, for both desktop and server on how to deploy it. So I hope you can take advantage of it and try it out and see if it's a good fit for your organization.